The medical bay of the Harmony Station hummed with the quiet efficiency of 1,000 species working together. Dr. Raza Singh adjusted his neural translator as he reviewed the case file that had puzzled xenobiologists across 3 sectors. His patient, Fiza Kath of the Zephyrian Collective, stood barely 3 feet tall, her crystalline exoskeleton catching the artificial light in prismatic rainbows. "The reproductive specialists on 7 worlds have told me the same thing," Fiza said, her voice translating as a melodic chime through the neural interface. "My genetic matrix is incompatible with standard Zephyrian reproduction protocols. I am defective." Raza frowned at the term, his dark eyes studying the medical readouts. The Zephyrians were an ancient race, their reproduction a complex biological dance involving 3 separate genders and precise environmental conditions. Fiza's scans showed cellular abnormalities that made her unable to participate in this intricate process. "You're not defective," Raza said firmly. "You're different. And in my experience, different often means possibility where others see impossibility." Fiza's antenna-like sensory organs drooped. "Dr. Singh, I have spent 47 standard years accepting my fate. My clutch sisters have all contributed to the next generation. I never will. It is simply the way of things." Raza pulled up holographic displays of Zephyrian cellular biology, his fingers dancing through the 3-dimensional models. As a xenobiologist specializing in interspecies adaptation, he had seen miraculous solutions emerge from seemingly hopeless cases. Humans, he had learned, possessed an almost stubborn refusal to accept biological limitations. "Tell me about your dreams," he said suddenly. Fiza's compound eyes shifted in what Raza had learned was surprise. "My dreams? What kind of offspring did you imagine having? What did you hope to teach them?" For the first time since entering his office, Fiza's bioluminescent patches flickered with soft warmth. "I dreamed of teaching them the old songs, the frequency patterns that tell the history of our people. I wanted to show them the beauty in mathematical harmonies, the way crystalline structures can create music when properly resonated." Raza nodded, making notes. "And this knowledge, these skills, they require biological offspring to pass on? It is our way. Knowledge transfers through genetic memory during reproduction." "But not the only way," Raza murmured, his mind racing. He pulled up files on adoption patterns across various species, historical data on knowledge transfer methods, and, most importantly, recent breakthroughs in consciousness bridging technology. 3 hours later, Raza presented Fiza with an idea that would have been dismissed as impossible by most physicians in the galaxy. "Consciousness bridging," he explained, displaying neural pathway diagrams. "Humans developed it for preserving memories of the elderly, but we've discovered it can create familial bonds that transcend biological reproduction." Fiza's sensory organs quivered. "You suggest adopting offspring of other species?" "Not just adopting. Creating genuine familial consciousness links. Your knowledge, your songs, your mathematical harmonies, they could be passed directly to young minds regardless of species. You could mother not just one child, but dozens across the galaxy. The Zephyrian Council would never—" "The Zephyrian Council isn't here," Raza interrupted gently. "This is Harmony Station. We make our own rules about family." What followed was the most ambitious consciousness bridging experiment in galactic history. Raza worked tirelessly, adapting human neural technology for Zephyrian biology. The process required delicate calibration. Too much integration would overwhelm young minds. Too little wouldn't create lasting bonds. The first volunteer was a young Karathi refugee named Zim Zim, whose parents had been lost in a mining accident. The procedure took place over several days, with Raza monitoring every neural fluctuation. When Zim Zim first hummed one of Fiza's ancient songs, a complex mathematical harmony that had never been heard from Karathi vocal cords, both patient and doctor wept. The young alien's tentacles moved in patterns that matched Zephyrian emotional expression, while his own species' bioluminescence pulsed in rhythm with Fiza's heartbeat. "Mama Fiza," Zim Zim chirped, using a hybrid of languages that shouldn't have been possible. Word spread through the station's lower levels, where orphans and abandoned children of a dozen species lived in institutional care. Soon, Raza's medical bay became an unlikely nursery as Fiza began forming consciousness bridges with child after child. Each bond was unique. A crystalline youth learned Fiza's mathematical songs through harmonic resonance. A young plasma being absorbed her historical knowledge through electromagnetic transfer. Twin Earthling children picked up her pattern recognition abilities through neural overlap. Within months, Fiza had become mother to 17 children across 8 species. Her tiny quarters expanded into a small compound as the station's administrators recognized what was happening, the first truly interspecies family unit in recorded history. Dr. Raza watched from his office viewport as Fiza led her impossible family through their daily lessons. Her bioluminescent patches now glowed constantly with joy, and her songs, once heard only in ancient Zephyrian archives, echoed through the station's corridors in voices that spanned the spectrum of galactic life. "Impossible," murmured Dr. Thys, a visiting Andromedan physician. "Consciousness bridging across species barriers. The neural pathways shouldn't be compatible." Raza smiled, adjusting his translator as Fiza's laughter chimed through the speaker system, harmonizing with the giggling, chirping, and buzzing of her children. "That's the thing about humans," he said. "We've never been very good at accepting what shouldn't be possible. And apparently, we're even better at teaching others to ignore those limitations too." As the station's artificial sunset painted the viewport in shades of amber, 17 children of different worlds called out in unison, "Good night, Mama Fiza." Their voices created a symphony that no single species could have produced alone. In that moment, the impossible had become inevitable, as it so often did when humans refused to accept the word never.